And a good evening. Welcome out to Little Woodrose. Time now to talk Lamar University football. I am Harold Mann along with Coach Pete Rossomando. Did you hear me right? The first place Lamar Cardinals.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good crowd out here again tonight. Looking at the standings, Lamar 3-0, UIW 3-0, Nichols 3-0. Then the next closest team has 2 losses. But it just goes without saying, we have a big one coming up on Saturday night afternoon.
Yeah, we sure do. That's it's going to be the biggest one of the year, maybe the biggest one in a long time in that stadium. So it's going to be a fun one.
Here's what's kind of unique, and this is awesome. The last time Lamar started off 3-0 in conference, get this, folks, 1967. That was before you were born.
Yes, maybe even before you. No,
not before I was born. I was 5 years old then. We did have a question. Lamar, longtime Lamar fan and supporter Mike Jenkins wanted to know preseason. I know no one plays much into preseason polls, but you had Southeastern Louisiana picked to win it. Lamar basically at the bottom, but it's reversed. And that just first off goes to show you what preseason polls mean. Do you play much into that at all?
No, I mean I think it's a resume based on what you did a year ago. I don't think it really factors into what kind of team you have at that point in time and moving forward certainly, and how your team grows and morphs throughout the season. I think that you got to play the games, and I always say that you got to get on the field and play. I mean that's the most important part of it, and we don't play into it, good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but it was all based on last year's resume.
Coming off the bye week, going back 2 weeks ago in Hammond against Southeastern Louisiana to get the 30-24 win. Savon Ray, a couple touchdowns, 101-odd yards receiving for him. He was the Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Week at that time. That's three weeks in a row. You've got some notification from the conference.
Yeah, Savon, it's great to have him back, healthy, full strength, full speed. I think that we were missing that piece for obviously most of the year until he came back in that game, really full speed. He played a little bit in Northwestern, but that was the game he was really targeting to get back full go. And I think everybody knows what kind of player he is, and he certainly showed it on that day.
Another guy that we talk about every week, seems like each week steps up, getting stronger and stronger, more confidence, is Robert Coleman.
Yeah, he's playing well. I mean, I don't think he's perfect yet. He certainly has a lot to, still improve on. But I think each week he does improve, and he works really hard at it. And I think he's got some real grit, and I think he's got some toughness to him. He took some big shots in that game, and even one where he had to lower the shoulder to get the first down on a 3rd and long. And, he just each week just continues to impress and continues to impress his teammates. And I think that they embody that spirit as they go out there and play.
I was going to ask you about that. You talked about lowering the shoulder. Remember that play bulldozed his way to a Cardinal first down. Is that something you kind of tell your quarterback not to do? Do you want your quarterback to get down, or do you like that toughness?
No, I don't like that at all. But, I mean,
it's hard
you can see him look to the side and look at the first down and see where he was, and he knew he had to get another yard, and the guy was standing in his way, and, that's just the way he does things. And, we really like him to slide. We really like him to get down, and, and obviously even if he's got to dive face first to get the first down, we want to try to get him on the ground.
Led it 30-10 at half.
Yeah.
Ended up 30-24, and you had a couple guys, or actually one guy, make a couple big catches with Andre Dennis, an over-the-shoulder catch in front of your sideline, and then on the southeastern sideline, he actually came back to make a catch for a first down. Those were 2 huge catches by the sophomore out of Westbrook.
Yeah, he's a special player, and I think he's had a great year since we've gotten here. Since January, and he's really impressed us with his work ethic and his toughness and his attention to detail. And we can move him around. He's really intelligent, and he picks up the offense really well. And he's with him and Savon and Isaiah Jones and Kindon Fusilier, you got 4 receivers that can really play. Plus Cam George made a couple really big plays in the game. So, I mean, I think we're getting depth at that position certainly, and it helps because you get guys banged up.
Running game, Kalen just continues to keep on getting the job done for you.
Yeah, I mean, he played okay. I would say that was probably one of his not so great games, as far as reading the runs. But he still plays tough. He plays hard. He blocks. He catches the ball. I mean, he's an all-around back, and we're obviously blessed to have his leadership, and obviously the way he walks around and communicates with his teammates is pretty special.
You obviously know your team personnel a lot better than I do, but on that final play of the game, you're going to punt it away with 4 seconds to go. Coach Harold says, hey, just have him run around for 4 seconds. But you went ahead and kicked it deep, and Alfonso, boy, he put a boot into it, kicked it inside the 5-yard line, and your special teams coverage got down there.
Yeah, I think the problem with doing that is if you hit the ground with a second left,
you're right.
You give them a chance to get the ball up in a position where they can put it in the end zone. And we didn't want to do that. And we practice that play every week and punt to win, and we needed to get it up. Now he's supposed to kick the ball out of bounds, but
it'll be by the time it comes down, the clock's expired.
Right. So we wanted to make sure that even if they caught the ball, get a little bit of yardage, they wouldn't have a chance to put it in the end zone.
And then, like I say, what I'm looking for, so many things can go wrong in that situation. He can fall. And you're moving the ball when you punt it, you're moving it away from their goal line instead of him running towards it.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not into that. I don't want him to go down. The problem is he's not close enough to the end zone where you're guaranteed he's going to get a safety.
Right.
And
because he's out of the 40-yard line.
Correct. So we wanted to make sure that we had a chance to win that game. We didn't play a great second half on offense. We missed a lot of opportunities, and that that's obviously you got to play the game. And they came out and they're champs. I mean, they were the champs last year. They weren't going to go away, especially on homecoming. So we knew that at halftime. So
bottom line is when the clocks struck 0, it was Lamar 30, Southeastern Louisiana 24.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Before we get our first break in, let's talk a little defense and talk about how well the defense played against a pretty good athletic offensive Southeastern Louisiana team.
Well, we got sacks. I think that was really important. We got them behind the sticks, and we had a big 4th down sack that stopped the drive, and we got 4 turnovers, 1 for a touchdown. Anytime you could score on defense, I think that's great. That's great for your team morale. It's really good for your offense, and I think that we were able to do that. And I thought we played fairly well most of the game. They lost their starting quarterback at halftime.
Yeah.
They brought in the backup, who was the starter early in the year.
Yeah, he had seen reps. It wasn't like he was fresh off the bench.
Yeah, and we hadn't prepared for a whole bunch of it, and there's no excuses. They played well. They made plays. They fed into his positives and the things that he did well, and we didn't do a good job of defending it. And they scored 2 touchdowns and had a chance to they had the ball back. They had a chance, and they punted to us. We got the ball with 4 minutes left and never gave it back. So I think those are signs that we're moving in the right direction as a football team.
And on that drive, we had talked about the 2 catches from Andre to extend those drives, and you're able to work the clock down to 4 seconds. So job well done. Again, we are at Little Woodrow's talking Lamar University football with Coach Pete Rossomando. Cardinals had a bye week, getting ready for national-ranked UIW coming to town this coming Saturday. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Don't forget, blackout, wear your black Cardinals jerseys. We're back on News Talk 560 KLVI. Harold Mann along with Lamar University football coach Pete Rossomando. We are at Little Woodrow's talking Cardinal football. Out here each Wednesday night during the season. We are located in the Colonnade Shopping Center, Phelan Boulevard, not far up the corner from Dallin. Easy to find us. Again, we're out here from 7 until 8 on Wednesday nights. We took last week off because it was an off week.
Yeah.
Did it come at a pretty good time for you?
Yeah, it definitely did. If we played last week, we'd have probably been without 6 starters. So I think gave us an opportunity to get most of them back, and we do have. I think we got 5 of them for sure that have practiced every day, and The other guy practiced today full, so I
So
think we're good
pretty
to go.
much in full strength coming up on Saturday?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously the earlier injuries that where guys didn't come back, no.
Right.
But I think for the most part, for what we came out of Southeast Louisiana with, we're pretty much right on par with that.
Okay, it was an open week. What kind of off week did you give the guys? Did they have a couple days off, or were you out there every day working?
We practiced 3 days last week. We practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We trained an extra training session in the weight room because for the week off I wanted to get our older guys one more extra weightlifting session, and I gave them the weekend off, and we came back out Monday and practiced. So and coaches did a lot of recruiting last week.
Did you get out at all?
I didn't. No, I'm taking care of the team.
There you go. Let's talk. I brought this up Monday during the weekly press conference. Of course, Matt Fay from the Enterprise made fun of me for it, knowing I was asking this question about Mid-County Madness, Nederland, PNG. I know you're going to try to stick your head into that. The Beaumont Bowl, Beaumont United, Beaumont Westbrook. You're going to take a peek at that, and then of course you got your own son playing high school football, and you want to go watch that.
Yeah.
Let's. You look at. Let's just focus on Nederland, PNG, because there'll be 14,000 people out there. Your high school and your biggest rival. What do you remember about that?
Oh, shoot. My high school, we had about 13, 14 people in the stands. Never mind 1,000. But Susan Wagner High School was our rival, right down the street in Staten Island. And they were battles for sure. And never had a chance to beat them. Never beat them on the varsity level. So beat them at the JV level, not the varsity level, but.
But regardless whether there's 2 in the stands or 10,000 in the stands, a rivalry is a rivalry.
Rivalry's a rivalry, yeah. And we thought about it, and we actually prepared for it all the way going back to January of the year before. And you continue to talk about it and how you're going to win that game and what you got to do to get there. And it was that's always special.
I had a coach tell me one time when it comes to a rival game, it's 3 weeks. The week before the rival game, so you're not looking ahead. Obviously, the week of the game, and then don't have a hangover the week after it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of emotion goes into it. A lot of emotion, a lot of heart, a lot of soul. And sometimes you can come out on the other side even with a win. And guys, I said they exhale. They go, oh, we made it. We got the big win.
And then the next week.
You got to play next week.
Yeah, got to play next week.
So, you never want to exhale. And I think as a coach, that's always the most challenging part.
The old trap game, as they say.
Yeah, right.
Again, UIW, national semifinalists last year, ranked 5th in the country right now. They're coming in, like Lamar, 3-0 in conference. They're 6-1 overall. What can you tell us about them? Maybe some of your concerns.
I mean, they're a super talented team. Got really good players on all levels, offense and defense. I think they're well coached. I think that they play really good on special teams. They have a great scheme in every facet of the kicking game. They got 2 good specialists. So I think they're a complete team. I think 6-1 is, maybe even I think the one loss was UTEP, and I think that was a pretty close game. So and I played UTEP when I was at Charlotte, and I know they got a tough team. So they're a complete team. I think the quarterback can make every throw on the field. I think the receivers can get open. I think they got a strong running game with a big offensive line. And they got a couple tight ends they bring in that love to block and that they know their role. They're not out there to catch a bunch of passes, but they do block well. And I mean, you have to guard them, obviously.
Are they big up front? Are they big offensive line?
Oh yeah, they're big. Yeah, they're huge. They're 6'5" and 6'4" and 6'4" and 6'5" and 6'6". So they're pretty big across the board. And
you've run across that this year already with some opponents, your kids looking across the line.
No, we have. We played. I mean, Idaho's a really good team, and obviously that didn't turn out the way we wanted it. And South Dakota's ranked in the top 10, and I think they're an excellent football team as well. And
ULM, they're playing
ULM.
good football.
They are. They're not winning the way they should, but I think they're playing good ball. So I think I don't know if we're prepared. I mean, to see that kind of speed right now, but I think that we've played good players, and now we got to go out there and try to put a complete game together against a really really good football team that's coming in. But I mean, if I had to say Parker, the DN, that's probably the guy that you worry about the most on offense because he's extremely disruptive in both the pass game and the run game.
Big guy.
Yeah, he's 6'6". He's 255 pounds. He played at Kansas. He was a real player at Kansas, not like a guy that was on the bench that was looking to transfer. Yeah. And I talked to guys at Kansas, and they knew him. And, yeah, they said, man, he's a really good football player. And they're saying that at the Power 5 level. At the FCS level, he's going to be a really good player. And they got 4 Power 5 defensive linemen up there, 4 guys that played at a Power 5 school. And I don't care. You could say they didn't play, whatever, but
they still were recruited by that school.
Yeah, they got some measurables. They got some talent. They got some
stars
ability.
by their name.
So I think and then they got a linebacker, junior college linebacker that I really liked coming out of California. So they got players, and their secondary is really good. The safeties can stop the run, they can hit, and then their corners can cover, and they're long. So. We're going to have our work cut out for us. I think the guys are excited for the challenge.
Yeah.
We played them last year. Obviously, this is a much different UIW team as far as personnel, not the same. There are some guys that are the same, but for the most part, I would say it's a new group, but they're just as talented as they were a year ago.
Harold Mann, along with Lamar University football coach Pete Rossomando. We are at Little Woodrow's, inviting you to come on by and see us. We're back with more on News Talk 560 KLVI. Harold Mann along with Coach Pete Rossomando. Again, we're at Little Woodrow's here on Phelan Boulevard, not far from the intersection of Dowland Road. We are in the Colonnade Shopping Center. Good crowd out here tonight, Coach.
Yeah, it's a great crowd. Thanks for coming, y'all. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on and out. UIW again, let's talk a little bit more about them. Ranked, 5th in the country? That doesn't faze your kids at all, does it? Or do you think that creates an excitement for them? Or
I think it does, yeah, of course. I mean, I think anyone, they're coming in here, and there's anything to get the juices flowing a little bit. I think it helps with get the fans in the stands and get the people here. So I think, yeah, of course, there's a little extra motivation, but I'm sure there's motivation on their part after after last week.
Yeah, they actually had to come from behind, trailing 24-3, I believe, at half. 24-7 at half.
Yeah.
And came back and won in Lake Charles, so they know how to come back and win on the road.
They do.
You know how to win on the road because 2 of your conference wins. You're 3-0 on the year in conference play, 2 of them on the road.
Yeah. I think we play better on the road at times. It just. I think when you have a young team, sometimes it helps to get everyone kind of rallied in one spot, and it's not like herding cats.
Kind of like when you do a road trip, you like the routine. Like for instance, playing at Houston Christian, it's a little over an hour and a half away, but you want to keep in that same road routine and go over the day before.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt. We like that. We like the. Not only the routine, but to be together. I think, it's good when you got a team that likes to be together, and our guys do, and they're fun to be around. They make you laugh a lot, sometimes too much, but they're a good team to be around.
Who would you say would be the, for better lack of terms, the class clown on this football team?
RJ Carver, no doubt about it. Yeah, RJ is quite a character for sure, and we love. I mean, he's
one of the team favorites.
Yeah, he's funny, he makes you laugh. He's always loud and singing songs and getting people riled up. It's fun to be around him.
RJ, of course, looked for him on the field for the Cardinals. One of the backups at running back. He had a touchdown.
He does, yeah, and yeah, he's played well, and he's a great part of our offense. He's definitely a grinder, short yardage, straight ahead type runner, and he relishes the role. I mean, he loves it. He loves being physical, and those kind of guys are hard to come by.
I know his grandparents up in I think Washington State tune into the coaches so now and then. I had a chance to meet them out in South Dakota. So
yeah,
and I mean it's good to see that. And speaking of that, 2 weeks ago in Hammond, looking across the way, saw a lot of red.
Yeah, we traveled well, our guys, and we have a fair amount of guys from Louisiana, and they have a lot of family there, and it's always great to play in front of family. And our guys, Ramon Stevens and Damian Alexander, and even Cody Martin, who just came out from UAB, who's a Slidell guy, and Jace Williams. We had a lot of guys that on that field that had ties to Louisiana. So
especially Slidell, that's a rock's throw away from Hammond.
No doubt, no doubt.
Preparing this week, talking a little more about the University of Incarnate Word. For those that may just be joining us again, they went to the national semifinals last year. I think it was North Dakota State that got them, if I remember right.
It was, but man, that was a heck of a game. I remember watching the game. And man, they played their tails off. I knew GJ Kinney pretty good, great dude, and did a great job with that team as well. And it was fun watching them play. You want to see those guys overcome the Goliath, who was North Dakota State, and they did a great job. They were in that game right till the end, and they had a chance to win it, and just didn't go their way.
Although it's a whole new look, different UIW team, as you mentioned prior to the break, than what they put out there last year.
Yeah, new quarterback, obviously that matters, but they replaced him with a guy from Texas A&M and Auburn, Calzada, who can throw the ball, make every throw. He's a really talented runner, and you could tell he's got command of the offense. He's got command of what they're doing up on offense. And the Torres kid came in last week off the bench and brought them back for a victory. I thought that was impressive. So, they got two pretty good quarterbacks, and I think they'll play Calzada, but who knows? You got to be ready for both.
Yeah, we'll find out when they get here.
Yeah, and then I think, the offensive line's pretty much all new. A lot of those guys, I think one guy came from Texas. Two guys came from Texas State. One guy came from USC. So they got some guys, on the offensive line that can play as well. And they got a receiver that played at Oregon, big 6'6" guy. Really good guy in the red zone, but really, he's a good receiver all around. But so I think they're going to present some challenges for us for sure.
Is that a case where, you play your game, you have your game plan? Is that a case where the best defense is keep their offense off the field? But but you really don't want to change anything up.
Maybe. I don't think you ever go in a game thinking that way. You got to go in trying to score points on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think you could say, hey, we're going to play keep away. I don't think that's something that you can do in college football today. So you have to run your offense. You got to be, aggressive but smart. You don't want to turn the ball over and give them short fields because, that's just playing right into their hands. So I think that's got to be the game plan to win the game. Is you got to be aggressive. You got to make sure you score points, and you got to play good situational defense. You got to get off the field on third down when you have an opportunity to do so. You got to be ready for them to when they get in that, I call it the alumni area from 40 to 40, that regardless of the down and distance, third and long, if they get half the yards, they're going for it on fourth down. They've done it a bunch of times, and they've gotten it, and they've been successful. So we got to play really good situational defense. We know that. We practiced it all week. Now it's just a matter of executing when you have a chance to do it on Saturday.
Talking about your special teams play, let's just go back to southeastern Louisiana, for instance. You have Major Bowden returning kicks, Kenan Fusilier back to returning punts, and I think those two guys are getting the job done for you right now.
They're playmakers. Major had a chance to break two of them and just got caught on both of them. And not caught, but had to kind of cut back into some coverage. And then Kenan's just a sure-handed guy who makes really good decisions, and we'll continue to roll him out back there because we certainly love his explosiveness, but more importantly, a guy that makes good decisions.
Going to get our third break in. Again, we are coming to you live from Little Woodrose, talking Lamar University football coach Pete Rossomando. Enjoying a Wednesday night at Little Woodrose here in Beaumont, the Colonnade Shopping Center. Harold Mann along with Coach Pete Rossomando talking Lamar football. Again, the Cardinals 3-0 in league play, getting set to take on nationally ranked 3-0 UIW here coming up on Saturday. And the other 3-0 team 2 weeks down the road. So the next 3 weeks, I know we take them one at a time. The only thing we're concerned about right now is UIW. But the next 3 ball games are crucial on your schedule.
I would say the next one is crucial. I don't really worry. You can't worry four down the line. You can't control that right now. So The only thing we can control is how we practice tomorrow and prepare for this game on Saturday.
You know, we talked about that Southeastern Louisiana win. We talked about the offense. On defense, K.J. Gilbert returns a fumble. What was it? A 40-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. And I don't think it was, as Keith Jackson would say, bumbling down the side.
No, he was going, man. He was shot out of a cannon.
He put on the Jets.
Yeah, he could. I mean, KJ can run for sure. He plays corner for us, and he can really go. But more importantly, he just, he was able to scoop and score, which we coach, and you coach it every week, and you turnover circuit, and he did a great job of scooping it up. And when he did, man, he was gone. There wasn't anybody near him when he hit the end zone.
It was a lot of fun to watch. I could see your sideline coaches and all players just erupted. That was a huge turning point in the game.
No, it's fun. I mean, it's fun to score on defense and special teams. I think those are two special things in the course of a game.
Especially like if you're a defensive lineman or defensive end, that makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah.
At what point? You just work on this so hard. Do you tell your guy fall onto football or scoop and try to score?
Well, you give them two. We call them. There's a country fumble, right? You're out in the country. There's a lot of wide open space. There's a country fumble. You pick it up and you run with it.
It's a city fumble.
If you're in a city fumble where you're around a lot of people, you got to get down on it right away. So that's the way we talk about it. You say it's country or is it city, and they got to make the decision.
Human nature is pick that ball up and run.
Yeah, but I think if you coach it enough, hopefully it sinks in where it becomes second nature to jump on it.
All right, we talked about all the offensive accolades against Southeastern Louisiana. Just talked about KJ's fumble recovery. Who else stepped it up for you defensively 2 weeks ago?
Sialafu, our D lineman, had 2 sacks in the game and a bunch of quarterback pressures, and really I thought played extremely well in the run game. He had played his best game as a Cardinal for sure. He transferred in from Missouri State, and we had to kind of get him in shape a little bit because he didn't get here till the end of the summer, and so it was good to see him start to play up to his capability. It's fun to watch.
Now, a kid like that from Missouri State, how do you find players like that? Do you go to the transfer portal?
Yeah.
And once you see someone in the transfer portal, how are you able to contact? Are you allowed to contact them? How's the process look? Say if you get home and you look and you see a player in the transfer portal at a position you're looking for, how are you allowed to contact person? Is there a timetable? How's all that work?
Once they're in the transfer portal, anybody can call them and have a conversation if you can get their phone number. Sometimes it's readily available in the portal. Sometimes it's not. You have to find it. I like to use the method of, hey, let's call the school that he came from. Let's find somebody that we know on the staff or somebody that's willing to talk to us, and let's get
somewhere down the line, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody.
Right. So let's get the skinny on what happened and why he's leaving, and was he a problem? Was he a guy that was just looking for a different opportunity? So you want to make sure we get a background check, and those aren't final all the time,
right.
But we want to make sure there's no real red flags, and then we'll contact them a lot of times through social media and start the conversation, and then get on the phone and do FaceTimes and start to really get to know each other, and because this. I call it more of a business transaction the second time around. I think the first time around in recruiting, it's a feel-good thing, it's a relationship thing. But I think the second time around, you got to get it right. Because you're not only going to have this one chance to transfer. So, because now they shut those gates on the multiple transfers. So, I think that was one of the things.
Do you like that?
I do, because I think there's less. You got to take them out to, a 4-star dinner. You got to take them out to, you got to entertain them. It's more about, hey, how can you resource me to be the best player I can be? Because these are my goals. This is where I want to be. Can you do that? Can you help me? Do you have my major? Do you have my master's program? Do you have the thing I want to study? And I think it becomes very cut and dry on whether. And then he's got to pick the place that fits best for him as far as what he plays on offense and defense, how our scheme fits. and make sure that the decision that they make is the best one for them.
With the transfer portal the way it is, let's go back when you first got into college coaching, when you first started recruiting. Did you ever think this would happen?
Well, I first started coaching in Division II, so at that time you could only come down and play right away.
Okay.
If you transferred down, so we were in a great position because we were getting all FCS guys, FBS guys. We had a transfer from Syracuse. We had a transfer from Wisconsin. So we had some guys that we had a transfer from Rhode Island because we were Division II, and they could transfer down, and those guys played right away. So I kind of had a feel of what it would be like. I never thought somebody would ever be able to transfer from FBS to FBS or FCS to FCS
and play right
make
away.
A lateral without sitting out a year. Yeah, I didn't think that would happen. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it could be a good thing. I think the way they rolled it out with NIL at the same time, I think that was what I would consider Pandora's box. And now they're trying to put everything back in. Once I say it, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Once it's out, you can't put it back in. And I think they're trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube right now. And I don't think that's going to happen. So we just gotta live in the moment and live where we are and embrace it. And
it is what it is.
And it's still the most important thing about what we do is the relationship we build with kids.
Yeah.
And I think that's always going to be the forefront of what we do. Obviously, win football games, yes. Got to do that. You got to create a great culture, yes. But you got to create good relationships. You got to make sure they trust you. They got to trust you. You got to trust them. I think it all works together, and that's how you create a solid program that's going to move on. And no matter what happens throughout the course of time with transfer portal and that sort of thing.
Well, and it's all in all about the transfer portal. I mean, that's fine and dandy, but you also got to look at high school kids.
No, we do. I
Yeah.
mean, we're high school. We're high school driven. I mean, we're going to recruit high schools first and recruit to fill in gaps with the portal and with junior college. And we're going to recruit junior college. I mean, you have to.
Right.
So I think we're gonna mix them all in, and we're gonna find the right model. I think we did last year.
Now, when you are allowed to go into a high school, how often? What are the rules and regulations? How many times do you go visit a school, go to a game, things along those lines?
Well, there's contacts that you have. You have a number of contacts that you can have, and whenever you go to a school, that contact counts for everyone in that school that plays. Really, anyone in that school. Yeah. So you can really only go once a week, and you got to be careful how many contacts you use. And we're not going to go see a kid 3-4 weeks in a row, so we don't really worry too much about that piece.
Now, with you being a father of a high school player, there's an exception. You can go to every one of those games.
I can.
Is that correct? So.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and I'm obviously I go to more than I don't go. Obviously, we travel sometimes,
right.
and makes it a little bit more difficult, but. I'm going to try to go to every one of his games because I love to watch him play. He's got a great passion to play.
Well, he's a kid. He's a senior.
Yeah,
and you want to watch your kid play football.
I would love to play. I love to watch him. When he was Pop Warner. I mean, I would go watch practices, and only because he always had fun, and he still has fun playing football, practicing football, being around his teammates. I think, that to me, that's always been the number one thing for my son is that he enjoyed what he did and he always had a passion for it, and that he continued to strive to be the best that he could be, and he always does.
And what I think special about your son, I did this between my sophomore and junior year. I moved from Nebraska to Iowa, and that was tough. Going in as a junior, he did it as a senior, and that's not an easy task to do.
No.
And you said it was his choice, yeah.
I think it was hard. I think there was I think there still is. There's a lot of things that you got to overcome, and I think he realizes that, but it's going to make him better in the long run. Mm-hmm. It's going to give him an opportunity to be able to overcome adversity, be able to see the good in some bad situations. And always has a positive mindset. And sometimes I know he doesn't want to be, but, he's always grins and bears it and goes out and does the things that he needs to do to be successful. And I'm proud of him. I love him. And, those guys are playing LCM for the district championship on Friday at Lumberton. And I wish them all the best of luck.
Actually, that's in LCM, though, right?
That's at LCM,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Real quick here, before we get our final break in, are you dad in the stands? Or are you dad/coach in the stands?
No, I don't need to coach from the stands.
Well, I mean, when he gets home.
It's so much. No, 100% no. I let his coaches coach
That's
him.
Great.
if he asks me because I don't know what they're I don't know how they're teaching
exactly
how to take on a double team, or so I got to let their coaches do the coaching. I mean, I'm not. If he asks me for help, I'll help him, in a specific thing. But for the most part, we just talk really about, hey, how did practice go? You guys up for it? You ready to go? Guy, how you healthy this week? And
typical dad-son conversation.
that's really how we do it. Yeah, I mean, he knows. I don't want to get involved in that stuff.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get our final break in. Again, we're at Little Woodrow's talking Lamar University football with Coach Pete Rossomando. Harold Mann along with the Lamar football coach Pete Rossomando. We're at Little Woodrow's in the Colonnade Shopping Center. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
You need to tailgate this Saturday. Tailgate this appearance here tonight to Provost Humphrey Stadium Saturday. It is a 3 o'clock kickoff. Blackout. Wear your black Lamar shirts. Come on out. I imagine you guys will be black helmets, black jerseys, black pants.
Black everything. We're going to Jay-Z it out. So we're all black everything.
All right. Get that. Folks, again, we really appreciate you coming out here. But we need, for lack of term, we need butts in the seat
we do.
At Provost Humphrey Stadium. Get out there Saturday afternoon. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Take along your radio. You can check it out on iHeartRadio as you're sitting there in the stands. Again, that's UIW coming up. Matter of fact, looking ahead the following week, it's homecoming, so we have 2 weeks in a row at home.
Yeah, that hasn't happened all year, so it's be great for us to be home for 2 weeks in front of our home crowd.
You got about 4.5 minutes to go here before we get out of here. Again, if someone's just tuning in on the latter part of this segment, just talk a little about our opponent this Saturday, UIW.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great challenge. Obviously, they're nationally ranked. They're talented. I think they're very well coached. And I know their special teams coach, coached with his dad, and really good friends with his dad. And he does a great job. His name is Blair Kavanaugh. And, their head coach and their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, I mean, they're well coached. And, we're gonna have our hands full, but there's you have to play the teams on your schedule. It doesn't matter.
Regardless, you're right. In order to they show up.
The next one is UIW, and obviously, they say it's a litmus test. There's no bigger one than this one this weekend for us. So we need to see where we are. I mean, again, I just want our guys to go out and play really, really hard, and go out and play really, really detailed, and try to make them earn everything they get. And the way you do that is you don't turn the ball over, and you play really good on special teams, and you on defense you make them earn it. You don't give up. You don't make a lot of mental mistakes. And we've done a really good job over the course of the last 5 weeks, even counting South Dakota State, and of not making mental errors on defense, and keeping things in front and doing some really good things that way. And hopefully we can keep that up this week. It's a big challenge, but we're excited for it. And how could you not be? I mean, you got another chance to go out and play. We had a week off, from playing, but we still practiced, we still trained, we still got our guys ready to go. And I think we had a chance to work on some things that sometimes in the course of a game week you can't work on. We got to really work on our third down offense. Well, there's a great opportunity to do that. We have to really work on our fundamentals on the goal line. Okay, well, and then you have more time to work fundamental. And, just the art of blocking, the art of tackling, the art of creating turnover, the art of we call it ball security. I think that gave us the opportunity to work those things throughout the course of, and we wore full pads Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We didn't go out there in shorts and T-shirts and helmets. We went out there. We're going to be a physical football team. We're going to practice physical, and that's what we did.
And being so young as your team is, something like this, 4-game winning streak, 3-0 for the first time since 1967. Do you think the youth in them, do they understand the magnitude that they're playing at right now?
Yeah, I think they drink the Kool-Aid a little bit, and I think that, we got to try to get them off of it, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't perform in the next game. I mean, you're only as good as your next game, and I think that's where we are right now. Is we have to go out and perform. You can talk, you can listen, but the bottom line is you have to play the game at 3 o'clock on Saturday against one of the best teams in the country. And if you don't prepare and you don't go out there with the mindset of, hey man, we got to play a really good game, really as close to perfect as we can be, then you're in for a long day.
Well, you can prepare all you want, but as we all well know, you got to get out there and execute.
You got to get out there and execute. And if you don't, then this team will get out ahead of you very, very quickly, as you remember from last year.
Absolutely. I do, and I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun this year. All right, Coach, tell you what, thank you so much tonight, and I want to thank everyone for coming out. Don't forget, UIW Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Looking forward to it.
Me too. Thanks, Harold.
All right, Coach, thank you. That's going to about wrap it up here at Little Woodrow's. Again, come out and see us next Wednesday. We're here from 7 until 8, the Colonnade Shopping Center right near the Dowland Road intersection. And come on, folks, let's do it. No excuses. 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon kickoff, mid-afternoon. What else do you have better to do to go out and watch Lamar beat UIW on Saturday? Don't you got to get out there and watch the Cardinals. If you don't have your tickets, 880-1715. They'll get you hooked up, ready to go see the Cardinals and Cardinals of UIW. Remember, wear your black. For Coach Pete Rossomando from Little Woodrow's, I'm Harold Mann. Good night, everyone.